expeditiously as we can and move on to the rest of our nice agenda. Council, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to make it so the public comment is 30 minutes. So I don't know how many people are here, but I would think 2 minutes is too short a time.
I just did the math for you.
Okay.
16 people, 30 minutes. Too short. It'll be a little bit less than 2 minutes, but we're going with 2 minutes.
Okay, but here's the thing though. These people took time out of their work, out of their jobs, out of their life to come here and feel in a democratic place, democratic city, they should be able to have their concerns heard. If that makes the council meeting go till 10 o'clock, then so be it. But this is what we're here for, is to listen to the people.
As you know, Counselor, I frequently allow people to go over the time frame. I'm looking to set it at 2 minutes so people will keep it as quickly, as brief as possible. And again, I also just mentioned that I believe a number of you are here under a misimpression or misapprehension that we are dealing with the tax stabilization agreement tonight. We most certainly are not. It is not on our agenda. And maybe I'm misinterpreting the written comment in advance of the verbal comment. I'm just saying that to try to move things along as quickly as possible, and so you can address things. And if somebody happens to say exactly what you were planning on saying, understand that we've heard it. So we do listen, and we do. I've already read the majority of these. Some came in late, but I take them seriously, as do my colleagues do, and we do indeed listen. So to move it along, we're going to start right now. The first individual signed up is Sue Anderbois. Is that correct? So, Ms. Anderbois, you're from 5th Street in Providence?
I am.
Okay.
Thank you, Council President, members of the council. I come to you as a colleague. I serve on the Providence City Council representing Ward 3, which abuts Pawtucket, just to the south, North Main Street. We end right at the Planet Fitness, so that's our little budding area. I'll let your constituents talk to you a little bit more about the things they want to talk to you about in your city. I come to you as a colleague. I'm hoping for some partnership, particularly around North Main Street. And I think Councilman Greger brought up that some things have changed since the traffic study was done for the JK Equities project. And I just wanted to share some of that with you and ask for some follow-up conversation, knowing that some of your, I want to make space for your actual constituents. But as you may or may not know, North Main Street for the last several years has been the most dangerous street in all of Rhode Island. During my term on council, the last 3 years, we've had 4 fatalities, 4 people struck and killed by cars. And we've taken that incredibly seriously in the city. I've convened a task force that includes members of state agencies, including RIDOT, who comes to every single meeting, RIPTA, as well as several city agencies, to help improve the safety and also economic development opportunities along North Main Street. And we've made a lot of improvements in the last several years. Every street on North Main, until we get to the Pawtucket border, is now no turn on red. We've also increased the ability or the time for actual people to be crossing the street, slowing down the traffic on North Main Street significantly. We've had increased police enforcement. We've had to have extra days at municipal court just for the tickets coming off of North Main Street from the constant speeding we were seeing that was unsafe for our residents. I've invested in funding I found of over $500,000 in new lighting along all of North Main Street, including the part that was done first is actually the part that abuts Pawtucket north of 5th Street. So from 5th Street up to your border, we've added a ton of new lighting. And we did an entire road safety assessment right up to your border with RIDOT, where we walked the street for an entire day, marking out all of the safety impediments on the Providence side of North Main Street, ending right at your border on Marianne Street. We are also about to sign or put out an RFP for design and construction, design and engineer, for other safety improvements to slow down traffic on North Main Street that could include some pretty aggressive changes, including potentially a bike lane and lanes specifically for RIPTA. I would encourage you to participate in that process because it stops right at your, but they don't respect political boundaries. Like, people are driving between your town and our town, and I would love to partner with you on this, but I just wanted to raise that because I know if it is used, if this one Mashasik is used for delivery, as soon as you hit North Main Street in Providence, we are significantly trying to slow down cars and slow down to prevent having more people die on my street, on my portion of the street. And so I wanted to share that with you. Other folks will talk, I think, about Morley Field and those types of things, but would love partnerships for things that can be mutually beneficial as it pertains to economic development across our cities. So Clovis or Councilman Gregor has all my contact information, but would love, and I would love to provide it to all of you so we can work on things that are mutually beneficial and don't just stop at the border. So thank you for the time. I'll let your constituents talk next.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, Sue.
So just so you know, that was 3 minutes, right? So we're not, can I please speak? I pointed out so that you don't think we're trying to silence anyone. We're trying to get through it as quickly as possible. 2 minutes was a suggestion. If you can do it within 2 minutes, do it within 2 minutes. I'm not gonna gavel somebody at 2, 2.5, 3, probably not even 4, but work with us is what we're saying, okay? So the next person is Greg Garrett from one block over on 6th Street in Providence.
Members of the council, my name is Greg Garrett. I am the watershed steward for the Mashasik River. I am also a student and a longtime observer of how economic development is done in Rhode Island, and it's not done very well. I think that the project that you have in front of you is not going to produce the jobs that you think it is, because it's been delayed 3 years. Those trucks, maybe the big semis are going to come in, but the little trucks that do the deliveries are going to be self-driving in 3 years. You know, so that all these jobs that people keep talking about, they're not going to be there. There's going to be robots doing the deliveries. So that means that you're getting almost no benefit for your tax stabilization in terms of jobs. You'll get money for, you know, property tax, but there will be no jobs in there. You know, instead of 350, you'll have 35 if all the trucks are self-driving and robots are doing the delivery. So that's something that you should think about. I mean, they're not here to answer that, and they're going to probably tell you that they're still thinking they're going to have drivers. It's an old model, and it is obsolete. The 3 years that they've been delayed by, you know, thinking about Morley Field, because Morley Field is the reason that this project has been delayed. And they just said now that they don't need Morley Field. So when are you opening Morley Field? You know, that's the whole point. If Morley Field had not been closed, this project would have been built already. And that's your fault. You guys have not said, look, open up the park. I mean, you couldn't sell the park. You tried to. You had an agreement to sell it. You couldn't sell it because the city was gifted part of that land. The other part of that land was given to you, the money was from the federal government, and you can't sell those parks. And the racial injustice that you're practicing by trying to sell it is not acceptable. And there will be a continued fight about that. So since the guy just said, we don't need Morley Field, when are you opening it?
Thank you, Mr. Garrett.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think I'm the person for that.
Mr. Michael Pompili from Longley Court. Mr. Pompili, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Council President, members of the council. I've given my comments on this proposed truck terminal in the past. Most recently, a couple months ago, the council meeting just before financing coincidentally closed with a loan from Quonset Development Corporation, and construction magically started. So I'm not going to reiterate all of that, especially since many people are here tonight to speak on the same things and can speak more eloquently than I can on this project that the community neither wants nor needs. In light of Mr. Karlik saying that this is a standalone project and ignoring his weasel words that he's not here to talk about Morley Field tonight, let's take him at his word and accept this travesty of a truck terminal as a standalone project. Abandon the LWCF conversion application, since Riverside Cemetery is not a suitable replacement for Morley Field, and restore Morley Field like this administration promised Amma when she was sitting in the chair, over there, so she's in now. That said, for a little change of pace, I'd like to address another item on tonight's agenda. I appreciate that Mayor Grevian wrote a letter to RIPTA in support of, or in opposition to the cuts to the 71 bus, which is proposed to lose weekend service on Broad Street and all of its service on Pawtucket Avenue. What about the 4 routes in Pawtucket, the 73, the 75, the 76, and the 80, that are being eliminated completely? What about reductions in frequency on the 1, the 72, the 78, and even the R line? I'm not suggesting any of these are more or less important than 71, but I can't understand why the city wouldn't oppose all the proposed cuts to our already meager public transportation system. I realize that the council is approving a resolution tonight to also oppose the cuts to the 71. I hope it isn't too late since the RIPTA board's voting on these cuts tomorrow. But I would urge the council to amend that resolution to oppose all of the service cuts to service in Pawtucket, not just the 71. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pompili. Dick Tierney from Stratford Street.
Good evening.
Dick, how are you?
Dick Tierney, 52 Stafford Street. Just trying to talk on Morley Field again. As the council knows, that district is in need of more recreation sites, not less. We've had Morley Field locked up for over 2 years, and I would remind you that the city made a commitment that that would be a forever outdoor public recreation site. So you're in a hard way, but I mean, the public needs your help here. We're gonna get this thing going. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tierney. Looks like Forrest Snyder, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
From Eston Avenue.
I hope to yield most of my time since others have already expressed what I was feeling, but I would like to point out a couple of things. And I've worked down on Eston Avenue for the last 5 years, just down the street from Morley Field, and been working to have Morley Field opened since the week it was closed, actually. I understand we're not here to talk about the tax stabilization agreement. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. But I would point out that it's really the council's purview to issue a tax stabilization agreement, change a tax stabilization agreement, or cancel it. It's in no way the mayor's office's purview and not the city solicitor's purview, and that's by Pawtucket's own bylaws. I've read them myself. So I would expect that the council should issue some sort of agreement going forward with a TSA or not on that issue with 1 Mashasik. On the topic of Morley Field, I'd like to see it opened as soon as possible, and the reasoning given for its initial closure was that it was polluted and that there was toxic material in the soil. And I actually, over 2 years ago, paid for independent soil analysis of over a half dozen parks in the city of Pawtucket. And I found, and you know, the scientists found who did the soil sampling and analysis, that in fact Morley Field is no more polluted than any typical park in the city of Pawtucket. And there's really no reason, there's no justification whatsoever to have the field closed. So I appreciate your time and thank you very much.
Thank you. Mary Healy from 85 Armistice Boulevard.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Healy, how are you?
Very good. First, thank you all for what you do. I know that you're doing the best.
You step to the mic.
Pardon me. I just want to thank you all for everything.
Hold down the mic. There you go.
All right, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, my apologies. The third time's the charm. Thank you for everything that you do. I know that you're all doing the best that you can, and I appreciate that. Like Dick had mentioned, he and I are both on the Parks Commission. We need you to open Morley Field, period. Open Morley Field. It's that easy. And if you don't open Morley Field, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're complacent, period. And I also wanted to talk about garbage cans in areas throughout the city. We don't have them. I pick up garbage every single day. There's no place to throw the garbage. No wonder people use Broadway as a garbage can. I'd advocate for more garbage cans in the city. I know that you could do this. It's low-hanging fruit. And then I would also say, get cars off the parking lots, because nobody wants to live in a not parking lot, on the sidewalks. Nobody wants to live in a neighborhood where they have to walk in the street to get around things. So those three things, most importantly, Morley Field. Thank you.
Mr. Cameron Segala from Robinson Avenue. Mr. Segala, how are you?
Doing right, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
I had a speech prepared, but every time I come up here with a speech, you guys don't listen. You're not gonna listen now, but I'm gonna go for it. You forget your obligations to the people of the city. You speak to us like we need to listen to you. We don't. We can say whatever we want, we can do what we want, because we are your employers. We employ you. You work for us. The only one on this council that understands that is Councilman Clovis Gregor. And here's another thing I want to discuss. During the last meeting, he said, Councilman Gregor said, I guess 3 rallies isn't enough. And you, sir, seem to be confused. I don't know what was confusing about that statement.
About what?
Hey, there you go. Morley Field. 3 rallies about Morley Field. You say we don't want to relitigate this issue. We've been litigating this issue for 4 years when the project was first proposed in 2021. 4 years. Nobody in this community has been for this project the entire time, the whole project. Yet here we go. We're still allowing them to lie to us, right to our faces, come up here and lie to us, over and over and over. Oh, it'll be done by 2027. 2024, that's what you guys agreed to. And this open language, nobody in this city cares about the language of that agreement. It shouldn't have been voted on in the first place, because the people came up here and said no to it. Again and again and again. So how many times do we have to come up here? If this doesn't work, if emails doesn't work, if phone calls doesn't work, what else are people to do? Because at this point, the only thing that's gonna work is to scare the hell out of you. Do you want riots? Is that what you want? Do you want people to get out on the streets and protest until you guys are gone? Until you're not in your seats anymore? Because we will make that happen. You need to start listening to us. We are your boss. I don't want to keep coming here after work to talk about this issue, but I will. I haven't been here in a while. I've been dealing with the school committee, and you know how much of a joke that is. All right? I don't want to come here every day or every meeting. I don't. I have work. I work a full-time job. And that's another thing you guys don't understand. The last time I was here, one of the last times, you guys were talking about the tax stabilization agreement for the Dexter Street Commons. And I said 20% workforce housing isn't enough. I think it was 20%. Forgive me if I'm off. No affordable housing. And people know the difference. Affordable housing, workforce housing, different things. No affordable housing. So we're handing out these agreements like they're candy. Okay? No, you don't do your due diligence like others have said. You're handing them out like candy. There's no guarantees for the community. No guarantees for affordable housing units and this trucking distribution center. There's no guarantees for jobs. And as Mr. Garrett already stated, in a couple of years, people aren't going to be doing warehouse jobs. It's going to be robots. I work in pest control. I service warehouses.
Kim,
I will
we're at
tell
3
you.
and a half. I'm not gonna stop you, I'm just.
Thank you.
Okay?
I work in warehouses. I see it. There are less employees today than there have ever been before because they have automated robots doing the work. They don't need people, okay? Jerry, whatever, Carlick, he does not care about workers in Pawtucket. He doesn't even know what's going on in our city. He's from New York. And I know it's easy for the mayor to be bought out, $2,600 from the Carlick family, easy peasy lemon squeezy. He wants the project to go through. We don't. And come 2026,
How much money?
and come 2026,
26.
we will vote you out.
Thank
End
you.
this project.
Next person is Representative Jen Stewart. Representative, how are you?
Good, how are you all doing tonight?
Good, thank you.
So I'll keep my comments brief because a lot of what has already been said tonight I agree with, and I'll just highlight a couple of things. You know, recently I was reading about the JK Equities development in the Boston real estate Times, and it was described as, quote, an urban speculative industrial project, end quote. And one of the things I thought was really interesting about it is that I think as part of it, there are a lot of unknowns or to be determined, right? I think as part of what's speculative about it. Like we don't know who's going to actually use it, who's going to be the occupant, what's going to be the scale of the business. And if it turns out that this project goes forward despite the lack of popular support for it, it would at least be, I think, reassuring to the community if you could press JK Equities to share with Pawtucket what's the work it's doing to make sure that that development has viable occupants, and what is it doing in fact as far as a more recent economic analysis that would demonstrate the overall long-term viability of such a project given the change in economic conditions that we're all familiar with, like tariffs, for example, or potential downturn. And lastly, I just want to reiterate, if it's true that Morley Field is no longer needed and not targeted to be acquired by this development, then I hope you will do all you can as quickly as possible to give Woodlawn back its park. And I just want to also encourage you to also reach out to the state to see how we can help you to do that. And last thing I'll say is just an overall plug for more green space and more parks throughout Pawtucket. As I arrived here tonight, or my husband and I arrived here tonight, we were struck by the fact that there were approximately 10 children playing out in the parking lot where we park our cars to come to the meeting tonight. And it was just a case in point of how desperately needed green space and recreation space is in just about every neighborhood of Pawtucket. And please move forward as quickly as you can with Morley Field.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Mr. Harrison Tuttle from Belmont Road in Cranston. Mr. Tuttle, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
So, I was approached by the same community folks that were here time and time again, either outside City Hall, either here today that you're going to be listening to, as president of BLMRI PAC. And I was approached on the basis of a black and brown low-income community whose only green space was Morley Field, And despite the city shenanigans, it was pretty apparent to me that this was a case of environmental racism. And that was a couple of years ago. I do not understand the fight that the city of Pawtucket is putting up to restrict people in their own community from using a public park that was federally granted to them. And there's going to be lawyers that will come up and they will talk about the official language. But the facts are that the community doesn't want it. And I know that as a human being, the natural reaction when you get the councilman of that district, when you get the state rep of that district or the ward and then the district come up and say that it's not favorable to their community, how would you like to feel if that was in your community and your constituents were saying, we don't want this? Say it. But on top of that, I mean, I think it's pretty embarrassing that people from outside of Pawtucket, like myself, that you have a Providence City councilor coming to tell you essentially to give back a field to their community. And so I don't know what the jobs are going to be. I don't like the attitude that JK Equities. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've reached out to JK Equities, how many times I've called City Hall, how many times I've left a voicemail asking for updates on Morley Field, and it just hasn't happened. It's almost like a running joke. It's as an activist and a community organizer, Pawtucket is one of the worst cities in terms of being transparent to the public. I think that there was a study done by Common Cause that backed it up. So I'm not just saying up here full of emotion, that's true. And that responsibility falls on the mayor, it falls on the city council, it falls on every elected official to hear the people here today who are calling to save Morley Field. So I ask the question, in conclusion, if the city of Pawtucket, given the fact that there are constituents here, that the ward representative of Morley Field is bringing up the concern whether or not we can expect an official response from the city as to if Morley Field is to be reopened and when, since JK Equities told us that they have no plans for the project. That's the compromise, is that we get our field back. Thank you.
Bryce Dubois, is that right?
Give me one second.
Oh, is he online?
He's online.
Oh, it says on Zoom here. I thought you said there was nobody on Zoom.
The hand was down at the time. I didn't know he was on consent first.
Is he back though?
I see him now, yeah.
All right, then we're going to go to him afterwards. Well, you know what? Just in case we lose him, let's go to him now since we have him.
Sure, one second. Mr. Dubois, can you hear us? Yeah, I can you hear me? One second. All right. Sorry, can you repeat that?
Can you hear me?
We can now, yes.
Excellent. Thank you and good evening, council members. My name is Bryce Dubois, and I'm speaking today as a concerned citizen. So obviously many of the things that have been mentioned here today about Morley Field and about the concerns of the larger development, are things that I might have been likely to say. I do think a number of these facts need to be repeated, so I'm gonna say a few of the points and reiterate some of the points that have been made. So I'm calling on you as a city council to stop giving tax breaks, which is under your control, as Forrest mentioned, and allowing out-of-state developers such as Jerry and his son Jordan Carlick, aka JK Equities, to take parks and build polluting industries in Woodlawn. Jerry and Jordan Carlick make their money by extracting from the well-being of neighborhoods such as Woodlawn. These developers prey on communities where they can make the most money while doing the least amount of work, all while feeling entitled to taxes that are owed to residents. Their opportunistic development strategy, which is what they call it, is built on this approach. And the microfiber site is a glaring example of this. Here, not only do they feel entitled to pay as little taxes to Pawtucket as possible, but they also willfully allow 1 West Shastic Street to remain an open pit and have done so for 3 years. And they have been often cited for not properly maintaining their polluting work site. And we have record of that in emails from DEM. After 3 years, what are you as a city council and the larger community left with but an open pit and a closed park, the only, again, green space in the Woodlawn neighborhood? And for this, as city council, you have continued to give away thousands of dollars in tax money to these individuals, Jerry and Jordan Carlick. Since December, we strongly believe that you had the opportunity to respond to the tax stabilization agreement and yet did not do so and allowed Jerry and Jordan Carlick to continue to not pay taxes that are owed to you, and also a fact that the Pawtucket administration has failed to enforce. You are entitled to these taxes, not the developers. The children of Pawtucket are entitled to their park and not the developers. And everyone is entitled to development that is good for the people of Pawtucket. And not one, as many folks have mentioned, that put dozens of dirty trucks that will tear through the neighborhood across the street from the more than 400 students who will start the newly renovated Segway Institute. This is, again, less than half a mile away from Providence, which is planning, as mentioned, North Main Street development for pedestrians, which includes greater green space. And yet the same care for people and their needs is not happening here at Woodlawn. And as folks have mentioned, it's egregious and it's unbelievable that this continues. And so even if you as a city council aren't ready to say it out loud, I just want to say some of the words for you and see if you can say it internally to yourselves. So to say, 1, I deserve better. 2, I and we are entitled to community-centered development. 3, I won't allow communities like Woodlawn to be sacrifice zones so that out-of-state developers can get rich. And 4, and finally, I will stand up for my community and the community of Woodlawn and will refuse any future tax stabilization agreement with Jerry and Jordan Carlick, aka JQ Equities, and I will open Morley Field. Thank you.
Thank you, Bryce.
Next is Monica Texera D'Souza from Broad Street in Cranston. Did I get that right?
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm a professor at Roger Williams University School of Law, but I'm also a former resident of the Woodlawn neighborhood. And I'm here tonight to add my voice to that of the current residents to ask the City Council to find a way to not only open the park, the field, but to keep it open for future generations. As a child in the 80s, I lived in the Woodlawn community, and I was part of a tight-knit Cape Verdean community, and I have so many fond memories from that time, but I have to tell you, there were very few places to play in this community. Those of you familiar with St. Anthony's Church, that parking lot was one of my play areas. Not ideal, but that's what we did. The data that I can share with you shows that people who have more access to green environments, such as parks and trails, tend to walk and be more physically active than those with limited access. This information is directly from the CDC's website. In another study, this was a systematic review that was published in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, the authors concluded that evidence consistently suggests a beneficial association between green space exposure and children's emotional and behavioral difficulties, particularly with hyperactivity and inattention problems. So there are school consequences as well. In yet another study, this was in the Journal of Mental Health Policy and Economics, mental health was found to be significantly related to residential distance from parks. They found that a nearby urban park is associated with the same mental health benefits as decreasing local unemployment rates by 2 percentage points. Morley Field is a community resource for the Woodlawn residents, for all the children who live here right now, but also for future generations of children. It is irreplaceable. Once the park is gone, it's gone forever.
I understand that you have a difficult job, I really do. You have to weigh the pros and cons of bringing development to the city. But I have to caution you against placing so much faith in a single entity. Many of us in this room who were here in the 80s and 90s can tell you about all the places our parents used to work, whether it was Monet or Schoolhouse Candy or Hope Webbing. These are all factories that shut their doors. They left. They no longer provide benefits to the residents of this community, but a park, a public good, if it's stewarded well, that can be with us and with future generations long after we're gone. You know, in Pawtucket, there are so many places where we walk past and we say, this used to be here. Memorial Hospital, right? Pawtucket's. Don't let this be another of those spaces. I really hope you'll use your power, and you do have power to do what you can to keep this park open. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Mr. H. Philip West Jr. from Unity Street, Pawtucket. Mr. West, how are you?
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I want to pass out something like that. On that side, and on this side.
Is that what you sent to me?
Yes.
Okay.
Phil, can I get one?
My name is H. Philip West Jr. I live on Unity Street, and I want to speak tonight briefly to the question of what's going to happen to Morley Field, but especially to the JK. You've got my written testimony, but I want to say a few different things on the basis of what's been said today. I'm disappointed that Mr. Carwick and his council have decided to leave. They should have stayed to listen to what people are saying. They should have offered to say, let us go ahead and let us invest in fixing up Morley Field. They didn't say that.
Yep.
They could have very quickly diffused the energy that's in this room tonight. Let me just say what my part in this has been. When we moved to Pawtucket in 2017, I walked around lots of neighborhoods and I saw this microfibers factory being torn down. When it was down, I started taking pictures. I've just shared with you pictures I took on Monday. Now, the council with Mr. Carwick said, we have no violations. Guess what? Just look at those pictures.
There's proof positive.
Yep.
The dust was pouring up from this equipment. I tell you, there was no one there streaming water on any of that on Monday morning when I was there, and those are the pictures. I was there on Tuesday, and they had water trucks because I don't know, I don't want to say because, but I had sent Mr. Carwick and his brother or his son, whichever he is, I'd sent them these pictures. And I said, this is outrageous that there's no water being sprayed to stop this toxic dust from going out into the community. You can see it in those pictures. On Tuesday, they did better. Now, it's interesting, council said to you that there are no violations. I looked at the sign that DEM had posted that said, here's who to call, here's who to contact. I sent pictures to them of piles of soil that was uncovered. I sent pictures to them of, and I've sent them to you as well. I've given you the online galleries where you can see these pictures that I sent them in 2014. I'm 82 years old. I'm the one that they're talking about trespassing on the site because I went through the fence, because it was open and it was easy. I could go in.
It was illegally up.
I could go in and I could see everything. And I remembered how when I was a kid, I loved to explore. And sometimes they would say, this place is forbidden. But I went anyway. And most kids do. And you can see that kids have been in there, climbing on those broken piles of concrete and finding their way through the twisted rebar and the pools of fetid water which is there. It's all there for you to see. It's in the pictures that I have posted. And then they come and they say there are no violations. This is awful. And it's awful for the community. And you as a city council, just because it's in Councilwoman Gregor's district and Representative Stewart's district, you are still responsible for the whole city. And that's what we're talking about here. I want to end by reminding us how environmental hazards destroy communities. We look at the national news about places in Louisiana that are called Cancer Alley because government officials have allowed great things to be built up that process oil. We look at other places like Flint, Michigan, where government made decisions to use water from the river without properly dealing with questions of lead in the pipes, and thousands of children were lead poisoned. That's what you call environmental injustice, and it's happening in Woodlawn now. We have the most densely populated, mostly minority community. There are no baffles to screen people against what's coming from the pollutions that are coming from I-95 that was carved through Woodlawn way back when they were doing those kind of things. You have the power now to do something better. I don't know what's going to happen with this JK Industries process. I would love to see us open Morley Field again and take that land and use it to build housing. We need workforce housing, we need affordable housing, and it could be built on that site. I think you should not give any, you said earlier, Mr. President, that the tax stabilization agreement is not on the agenda tonight. I'm here because I saw Councilman Gregor's letter, and because that's the subject of the letter, and I affirm what's in the letter. But it would be absurd.
I should wrap it up. It's almost 6 minutes. It's not fair.
For Mr.
I am having some respect. I have always offered as much respect as possible to Mr. West. I think he would agree with that. I'm just asking, it's not as fair to the rest of the folks who have tried to keep it under, we are now over 6 minutes. I'm not stopping you, I'm just asking if you can wrap it up.
I'm gonna wrap it up, but I really want to say to you, it is within your power as a council to provide justice. I'm not making that up. It is within your power to insist that if anything goes forward, it not be a tax stabilization agreement, but it be the company coming in to help to fund the rehabilitation and the opening of Morley Field. You have it within your power. I asked you to investigate. They said there were no violations. I asked you to investigate. I would be glad to show you lots more pictures. This is a travesty. I've been involved in urban renewal in New York City, and I've never seen anything like this. We can do better, and I hope you will. Thank you.
Ms. Christine Bentley. Bentley, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Who asked?
I did.
Hi, Mr. Mercer. So first, I'd like to start off with saying that for those of you who know that I've been coming to these meetings for decades, you know that I would stand for any one of you, even when I disagree with what you do in this room. I do not allow my officials to be disrespected by anybody because I have respect for you guys. I may not always agree, but I have respect, and I think you guys all know that. With that, I'm going to say for most of the people that are familiar, that's been following this from day one, you would remember the attitudes that were given to Clovis by, what was her name? The first lady, the lady that worked for the city that came with the attitude, Bianca. Every time Clovis spoke, there was an eye rolling, there was an attitude coming from her. So what I have noticed since day one, I know that those of you who have been on the council for many years, you're not used to someone with so much passion. And that's what Clovis comes with. Not only does he have the passion to stand for something in the community, he has the ability to get the room full of people. It's happened several times. It's happened several times. And for some reason, I kind of sense that makes some of you uncomfortable. For the new people that are on board, I know that there's nothing been in your district that you've been really passionate about. I've never really seen so many people come out for anything. But it does happen. Across Rhode Island, it happens in city council, where the community comes out. You guys need to be a little bit more respectful of that. And I understand that it's not on your agenda, but many people have said this, and I'm gonna say it my way. Pawtucket administration is known to do things behind closed doors. So when you put something on the agenda that gets some of these people's attention, they're gonna come down. They're taking time out of their day, time out of their family to come down and address it. Whether it's something you wanna hear or not, it matters. They have something to say. And they wanna come down in support of Clovis. And I'm gonna say, as a Cape Verdean community leader, a strong Cape Verdean community leader, I will say that about myself.
Say it.
I hate to see this man continuously disrespected. The two people that were standing up here earlier, I won't even call them by name. Businessmen and women over here disrespecting our council, and then when I call them out, I get shut down. No, show him the same respect. They wouldn't talk to you like that. They have no business addressing him like that. You think we want those kind of people in our neighborhoods?
No.
So this is why all these people are here today. And I'm so proud to see people from outside of Pawtucket coming down here to stand with us. Because at the end of the day, what you guys are going to understand, you might not admit it, but I'm going to say it because I'm usually the one up here trying to speak for the community. Due to some type of retaliation sometimes from the city administration, some people don't like to come down here. But when Clovis is speaking passionately about something, he's speaking on behalf of the community. I can tell you, as the longest standing Cape Verdean community leader in this city, he's speaking on behalf of all of our Cape Verdean children that need that Morley Field open. So he's not going to be shut down, not in my presence. You know, and I'd like to say one more thing too, that I've taken note. I haven't come to the city council in a minute. I've been busy over the school committee, as Cameron said, they're a hot mess over there. I will point out one thing though. Not only is the disrespect not going to be accepted here, there's something I've been noticing as a trend coming from the administration also. When we have delegates coming over from the Cape Verde Islands, we have a city councilman who's a Cape Verdean sitting right there, and I don't see him in the pictures, and I don't see him invited to any of these things. I'm going to stop calling out those Cape Verdeans that the mayor's hiring as the Cape Verdean sellouts that don't invite him. I'm no longer going to tolerate that. So not only do I stand up for a Cape Verdean against anybody else who's disrespecting him, I'll call out a Cape Verdean too.
Susan Bailey from Unity Street. Ms. Bailey, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. This has been very interesting. I'm going to be short, which you'll be glad to hear. I live at 8 Unity Street. I've lived in Pawtucket for 8 years. I've lived in Rhode Island for 50 years. I grew up in Los Angeles, and that was quite a different environment. Today, I spent a few hours with a group of over 100 seniors who were celebrating the power of coming together in a spirit of hope and helping each other to make our state and our lives better together. This evening, I'm deeply disappointed in the actions of the Pawtucket government in allowing the degradation of our environment and service to our citizens, especially to our children. I've been following the Morley Field story for a few years. And what I've heard tonight just seems even more tragic than I realized. So I ask you, what is the better path to follow? I also want to relay a brief statement from, some of you may know Lisa Bede. She has lived in Pawtucket for decades, and she said, I want to say that you know the arguments It's a simple choice you have to act morally. And to represent the people of Pawtucket. To act immorally and further the vested interests that the mayor serves. Your vote to deny or support these interests will go a long way in showing your true values. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next individual is Sasha Gesmer from Bloomfield Street. No rush.
Take my time.
Sasha, welcome.
Hi. I did not realize when I was writing on that paper that I would be up here, but I'm very pleased that I did sign up. I agree with everything. Well, first, I should introduce myself. Everyone else has. I'm Sasha. I live in the Darlington neighborhood, so on the other side of the city. I'm a psychotherapist, and I work from home, so I'm always looking at my neighborhood. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that's been coming up tonight, right? I feel the energy in the room. It's really intense. I know you all feel it. I think this whole thing is insane, both on a community level, an economic level, an environmental level, a mental health level. But the way that I go about things is trying to bring some sort of understanding and respect. What was coming up for me as I was listening, I was talking to a client today about the rainbow fish. Do y'all remember the rainbow fish? Did you read that to your kids? Does anyone in the room remember the rainbow fish? Okay. Can I tell you really quickly the story of the rainbow fish? Does it vibe? Does it vibe, y'all?
Yes.
Okay, it vibes. Okay. So this is one of my favorite books growing up. It's about this fish, and he's got all these beautiful scales, and they all glimmer and they glitter. Yeah, you're remembering. And one little kind of dull fish with no special anything comes and says, "Can I please have a scale?" And he says, "No, screw off." And then that little fish goes back to the community and it says, "Hey everybody, the rainbow fish told me I couldn't share. I couldn't be part of this." And the entire community turns its back on the rainbow fish. Blah, 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 goes to his only lasting friend and says, "How do I get my friends back?" And the answer is, I had forgotten this, so I had to like reread it today, right? Like I had to like go to Wikipedia and be like, wait, because we all get different stories and lessons from this same story. But basically the rainbow fish ends up sharing each of his little guys, his little scales, to everyone. And the community welcomes him back with open arms. So that's what's been resonating for me as I've been listening to what's been going on tonight. I'm trying to come at this, right, with curiosity. I'm new here. I'm wondering what it is that's stopping things. I'm curious if there's fear. But I hope that the folks in this room want to work together if there's a solution that can be found. I have a lot of strong words I could say. They've all been said. I really want to. I'm not going to. But yeah, that's where I'm coming from. So thank you.
Thank you, Sasha. The last individual signed up is Emma Blankstein. Is that from Waterman Street? Is that-
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Emma Blankstein, and I am a part of Sunrise Brown, a group dedicated to fighting for environmental justice in Rhode Island And this is clear, plain, and simple, an issue of environmental injustice. Morley Field belongs to the people, and it was made using funding from the Land and Water Conservation Fund from the National Park Service. This requires that Morley Field should be, quote, reasonably open, accessible, and safe for public use.
Say it.
The city of Pawtucket has failed to do this. JK Equities might stand before you and claim that this has nothing to do with Morley Field, but that is not true. The pollution that they have generated from this project makes Morley Field unsafe and unusable. The air, water, and soil pollution created by this project do not remain in one place, only on the lot of 1 Moshik Street. They impact the entire community. They claim that there is no, quote, violations that have happened, but the community knows what they are seeing. They have been telling you what they are seeing. They have been telling you for the past 3 years that they want Morley Field open, that they want Morley Field to be a safe, accessible green space for everyone in the community. It is about time to listen. Thank you.
Any opposition? Anybody in favor of JK Equities?
Okay, we are going to move on now to the Pawtucket Board of License.
Mr. President, may I speak?
Mr. Dobos.
We were at City Hall waiting for you guys to be there, but we found out you're over here. So we didn't have time to come in and sign in, and all we need is 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, how many is we?
Me and my next door neighbor.
Okay. Do you want to come together? Is it?
Yes, come on, John.
Okay, so I understand some people have made that same mistake.
Yeah.
I know you participate frequently, so if you both want to come up,
Great.
Mr. Stanley Dobos from Rose?
Chestnut Street, 11
Chestnut. And I'm sorry, sir?
John Hanna from Chestnut.
John Hanna, the football player?
Yeah.
From Chestnut, both from Chestnut, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
We're here because of the festival pier. The noise over there is just unacceptable. My house is probably a good 2 football fields away. And my windows and walls shake from the music. There's a lot of kids on our street. That's not acceptable. It's really not. It's
The base shatters my windows. They shake. I got a couple of sick kids in my house. They gotta go to bed early. These people play until 11, 12 o'clock at night. I got a scanner, so I listened, and I found out that place didn't close till after midnight. Because I heard the cops say we're closed, everybody's gone.
Which is the Festival Pier?
Festival Pier, the last festival they
last
had
Saturday, yes.
this past weekend. I think you might have got a phone call from me, Michael, you did, Nisi, you did. So, I just wanna know, we gotta stop it. You guys made a plan from 8:30, everything shut off, 9 o'clock, get the hell out of there. And that's what we're looking for. And I got a whole street and I got a whole block of people that can come down there and do what these people from Morley Field have done. But I don't wanna do that. I've been doing this, I've been in my house for 27 years. 27 years. And that neighborhood is just going down the freaking drain, you know?
Understood. I'm glad you asked to come up and speak. We don't generally engage during this format.
Yes,
But
I understand.
I know you have Councilor Codier's name, you have a number, you have my number.
Yeah.
And Councilor Rujo's number. We've talked about how to fix this, so we will be in touch as soon as we can. Reach out to me, Mr. Hanna, if you'd like to. Stanley has my number. You can reach out to me, okay? And we will do what we can.
Well, like I say, it's just not right, you know? It used to be a beautiful neighborhood. You've got Memorial Hospital that's falling down, the homeless people in the woods, and then we get these bands that play till midnight, you know?
Oh, well.
Understood.
Got the stadium.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
barely hear the stadium.
We are on to the Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners.
Shake somebody else's house, not yours.
We'll call the meeting to order, and the clerk will call the roll. Oh, I thought I did.
The stadium doesn't bother.
Before we convene,
Funny, man.
Individually?
Yes.
Okay, so there was written public input accepted today to share a battle from To Empower. Adam Greenman from Pawtucket, Kate McPherson from Save the Bay, Kate Sales, the Director of Rhode Island Land Trust Council, Diana Mayer, 15 Trenton Street in Pawtucket, Jennifer Maglaw from Pawtucket, Harrison Tuttle, says from Pawtucket, Dana Goodman from Pawtucket, Alex Zanevicic, Denisovich from East Greenwich, Shayna Klinger from Glenwood Avenue, State Representative Sherry Cruz, and Hope Dubois. Was Hope Dubois one of the ones in person too?
No, he was online.
Gotcha. Okay, it was Bryce Dubois, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, those are entered into the record just as the public, the verbal public comment was. In that case, now I will call the order of the Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners. The clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Here.
Council Ruggio.
Here.
Council Codere.
Here.
Council Gregor.
Here.
Council Moran.
Here.